The Future is Here. Senior Living Reimagined. Written by Lisa M. Cini. Narrated by Madeline Starr. Forward. My grandmother, who is 93 years old and is now living with me and my family, has experienced more change in her lifetime than I could ever imagine. Not only has she seen everything that I have seen, which will make your head spin, but she has seen what could only be described as magic compared to what her grandparents experienced. For those of us blessed enough to have our kids know their great-grandparents, time starts to have meaning. The three largest transformations in their lifetimes have been in plumbing, communication or entertainment, and transportation. You realize this when you hear stories about how they met each other and experienced their first ride in a Model T. My grandparents were raised in homes without utilities or services. Homes were primarily a box composed of walls, floors, windows, and a fireplace. They washed clothes on a wash, then progressed to a paddle washer. Then, when power came into their homes and the home appliance revolution took hold, they were able to move into gas and electric washers and dryers. They started off with an ice chest and root cellar to prevent their food from spoiling, and rain barrels for their water, and progressed to a refrigerator with a frost-free freezer and water that comes out of its door. Candles and gas lamps were replaced with electric switches that would neither burn you nor burn out. The horse and buggy were replaced with the car, trains, and the airplane. Individual mobility that allowed people to go further and not on predetermined routes redefined our communities. From walking distances to distant suburbs, with some living in different states than where they worked. I remember my grandparents telling me how they drove from Ohio to West Virginia in their friend's Model T so that they could be witnesses for their wedding, and they ended up getting married too. By the time they got back, they'd barely thought up a plan to explain their elopement to their immigrant parents. They said that the Model T was so exciting and gave them so much freedom that they forgot about what they would face when they got back home. However life-changing all of these innovations were, there has been no greater change than in communication and entertainment. My grandparents wrote letters and sent telegrams. They attended live entertainment and read newspapers, books, and magazines. Radio, movies, telephone, TV, and now the internet have changed how they get information, and entertainment is delivered in a non-stop global fashion that is deafening at times. My point is that change will happen. It always does. Seniors are much more prepared for change than most think. They roll with it, adopt what works well, and ignore the rest. We could do a lot to make it easier for them. A recent example is when the phone rings and my grandmother tries to answer the remote for the TV. We all laugh, but the devices do look almost identical. To her, because she has seen so much, she accepts the notion that maybe her remote could also be her phone, like my Samsung phone is. When the lights sense her movement and automatically come on, she thinks it's neat. Technology is getting better and cheaper and has allowed her to stay with me in my home, even though she does need monitoring and assistance. While Mosaic designs award-winning senior living homes that look a lot more like country clubs or high-end resorts than they do hospitals or scenes from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I have chosen to engage in a life experiment with my 93-year-old grandmother and my 76 and 74-year-old parents moving in with us, 4 generations in the house. It's not only because I want to see if technology can really solve most assisted living issues, but also because I know that even though my clients love their residence, have the most wonderful environments, and provide excellent care, my grandmother would die shortly after moving in, simply because of the disconnection with family. The disconnection would not be intentional, but it would happen. Stares are non-existent and discouraged, and her muscle tone would definitely decline. Trying to arrange a Skype session or checking in to see what she really ate is not easily done via technology in senior living, nor does the staffing ratio help. I travel a ton, and physical visits would be difficult. She needs to know she is still needed and loved, that she still has purpose, even if it's just saying hi to my 17-year-old daughter when she comes home from school, or letting the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?